Welcome back to the podcast, Championship Sunday podcast. We got all the boys here. We got Junior, we got Riz, we got Dan, we got Pigskin Pete, the fan favorite, and best of all, we got Dan doing laundry with the headset
The
on.
fan
What a beast.
favorite.
That you
Oh
can't
yeah,
coach that. You can't coach
You
the
can't coach.
the
That's
You
the
should
laundry.
have.
talent.
that's just determination.
Yeah.
Just
Mm-hmm.
getting the job done when the fans are asking for it.
You should.
Uh,
Right.
You should have dropped. You should have dropped. And I'm with the Hall of Famer.
Hall
Oh
of
Sounds like
yeah.
a
Famer
Joe Buck.
Troy
I'm
Aikman.
Joe Buck, the Hall of Famer,
No.
Troy Aikman. It always sounds like he's calling himself a Hall of Famer, doesn't it? He
uh,
always says, "I'm Joe
What
Buck,
does he
the
say?
Hall of Famer,
No,
Troy
he's
I'm
like,
Joe
Aikman."
Buck,
yeah,
man.
the Hall of
he's like,
Famer
he's
Troy
like, this
Aikman's
is.
with me.
He's like, this is a hall. This is a Hall of Famer. It's like,
This
what?
is the Hall of
It
Famer.
just
I'm
sounds
Joe
so
Buck
weird. So
Pilgrim.
weird.
You think Aikman knows
Come
he's a
get
Hall of
me,
Famer?
Pilgrim.
I don't know.
Probably-
I
He
don't
gets
think he
reminded
knows.
on a weekly basis.
Maybe he knows now, but I don't think he did for a while. Maybe too many concussions. Joe Buck had to let him know. I don't know. But a
Right.
lot of people are probably watching this through YouTube, and they're probably confused. This was originally uploaded as a podcast. If you're listening to the podcast, good for you. That's fantastic. I didn't know what to say.
It works. Fix up.
So the AFC Championship game just ended, but what it was a great conference championship. Well, honestly, the second game was a little boring. It felt like Bills for a little. We'll get to that game. Let's start with the Bucs and the Packers, the NFC Championship game. Bucs win 31-26. It's all right. You gotta do what you gotta do. Bucs win 31-26, and it looked like it was going to be an ass beating. It kind of was for a little bit, but then the Packers really made it interesting. The Bucs assisted in making it interesting by trying to choke the game away, but then it became a very entertaining game. My heart was beating like crazy during that one at the end. Let me tell you. Anybody got any takeaways, thoughts?
I mean, the Bucks kind of scare me now because they've done this. They've done this whole spiel a couple times now, where they kind of ease off the gas pedal and teams get super close to like this. The Packers could have won this game. They literally could have won this game.
They could have, yeah. I don't think the Bucks eased off though. I think I think they could have been a little more conservative. I don't think they were conservative at all. I thought they were trying. I think there was just too much. It might have been too much gas and from Brady and maybe I don't know, Mike Evans dropping the ball. There was a lot of
That
drops.
first touchdown should have been a pick.
I don't think so.
He jumped so early.
Yeah, but he had to turn around, wrap his head around, and then jump. Like it's like so hard to do. I think that was. I don't think that should have been picked. I think the first touchdown you're talking about.
Mike Evans
Mike
in the
Evans,
corner. That
yeah.
defender was in the air, like, and just so early.
I don't know. He kind of turned his head and then he jumped early, but it's hard to do. I
He
didn't
like
expect that to be
swung
picked.
at the ball as he was like coming down from his jump.
Stephon Diggs is the only player left on the field. He's watching the Chiefs. Only Bills player left on the field. He's watching the Chiefs ceremony.
Juice.
Heck?
He's
Ouch.
getting juice.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of. I mean, speaking on both games, really, I was kind of like disappointed, like in some of the play. I felt like some of the play was sloppy today. Like just drop balls and I don't know, just a lot of
Very chippy.
Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting better. I was actually expecting the Bills Chiefs game to be closer than I know we're not talking about it yet, but I was expecting that game to be closer than the first game. But
The first game. But talking about that game, let's see. What do I got for takeaways here? I just don't like this because I start rambling and don't let anybody else talk. But
Let me kick it off. I'll
Yeah.
tell you I'll
go.
tell you what my takeaways were. I thought that the Bucks were a lot more balanced on their offensive calling than the Packers were. I thought that the Bucks kind of committed to the run. I mean, they had Ronald Jones, who didn't have a good of a rushing game, but playoff Lenny.
yeah.
Yeah, playoff Lenny
Looking
having
good.
a good day, but they still split the carries like evenly between them. Whereas I thought the Packers really didn't. I thought it just wasn't working for them, so they kind of shied away from it. But they were also playing a little bit of catch up at times. But
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know. That was kind of my takeaway. It was like they talk about it having a balanced scheme, and they kind of went away from it.
I think something that I kind of noticed, we were kind of getting I was kind of getting disappointed with the Bucks defense like later on in the year, but like in the playoffs here they've been stepping up. I feel like a lot of things they were getting beat on is they would play kind of off coverage and let the underneath stuff out, but they have been playing like really aggressive on the line of scrimmage. Like you just see Carlton Davis and Murphy Bunting just being physical and pressing receivers at
How
the line
about
of
that Murphy
scrimmage.
Bunting guy?
Yeah.
Whew, he's playing a hell of a
Yeah, so like
playoff.
they're just playing. I don't know, like it's kind of like what I expected from their defense, and I think it's kind of what we saw early on in the season. But I mean, they're really stepping it up in the playoffs right now.
Uh, yeah, going off that, yeah, there was a couple drives where they were playing a little off, and then Rodgers was going like one step and just firing quick underneath to beat the to not to make it so the pressure wasn't a thing. So there was times where it was like that, but I think it was because the Bucs got to switch it off. They can't just play only press. But for the most part, like you said, they're kind of been locking it up compared to most of the season. Whenever they were beat, they were just playing way too far off the ball. I do find it interesting, but this is already kind of getting on the conversation of the Super Bowl preview. But for whatever reason, when the Buccaneers played the Chiefs during the year, yeah, they were known for just playing too much soft coverage, and for some reason they went in that game playing press man against the Chiefs. That's what you don't do against the Chiefs, and that's what the Buccaneers should have been doing a lot of the other times. And they weren't, and for some reason they did it against the Chiefs. Obviously, it backfired, and they changed it up as the game went on. It helped a little bit, but I don't know if that was just a bad decision. Well, that was a bad decision. Or I don't know if they just somehow, it sounds weird, but just somehow knew they were going to see the Chiefs again, and they were just giving them different looks. I can almost guarantee we won't see any of those looks in the Super Bowl, so it should be a different Bucs team. But, yeah, defense stepped up when it needed to. Just a bunch of guys flying around the field making hits. That Jordan Whitehead hit on Aaron Jones. That was the second time Aaron Jones coughed the ball up. The first time the Buccaneers recovered it, though. That was a major moment in the game. Yeah, kind of going on what Dan said, that the Packers were almost one-dimensional. I think the Bucs kind of created that. The Bucs got that lead, so I think that's kind of why. And that's a big reason why the Bucs won. They were more balanced, kind of like Dan said there. So that was huge. Yeah, what I like about the Bucs defense is, they stop the run. They didn't give up pretty much anything up the middle. Packers are finding some success outside, but they were playing from behind, so they didn't want to run the clock too much, so they couldn't do it a whole bunch. But the Buccaneers stop you up the middle. They stop the run first, and they're not going to allow too much deep. Their corners are really good getting deep downfield, not letting guys behind them. They're really good at that. So they're limiting you to the small ball, the quick passing game. They try to make you as one-dimensional as possible, and that's why I love the Buccaneers defense, besides the point that they're always flying around the field together, just making plays. Pretty versatile, too. I actually saw a play where it was the Aaron Jones fumble, actually. They had Devin White and Levante David as the outside corners. Those are their inside linebackers. Outside corners, they weren't covering receivers out there. I think it was a running back, tight on the other side maybe. But yeah, so I thought that was crazy that they're able to do that. Packers ran an insane amount of pick plays, legal ones too, like they're allowed. So I call them successful pick plays, but the Buccaneers were still making plays because their corners and anybody in coverage, they're able to adjust and talk and switch when they need to, or just get around the pick. So those things kind of go unnoticed where the Bucs have their strengths on defense. So that really stood out. I'm gonna let somebody else talk before I keep going.
I was gonna say, who'd you give like player of the game to? Because I don't think you'd give it to Brady because of his 3 picks. But I'm stuck between Devin White and Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett had 3 sacks. Devin White was flying around everywhere. Had
Offense. Yeah, it's got to be Shaq Barrett on defense, I think.
He was everywhere.
I want to see. They're probably out there somewhere. I want to see like the pressure numbers, like how many pressures each guy got. But
Shaq Barrett had 4 total QB hits and 3 sacks. So I mean, he was there.
Yeah.
But Devin White was everywhere. 15 9 solo, but 15 total tackles. Like
Devin White's, yeah, he's nuts. Sean Murphy Bunting had that incredible pick. Whitehead forced 2 fumbles.
Jason Pierre-Paul, he was.
Well.
Everybody you needed to showed up today for the Bucs.
Yeah, Godwin finally showed up. I was kind of calling that because he was playing pretty much the worst ball we've seen him play in a long time in the only 2 playoff games. And I had a feeling he was going to step up this game because he needed to mainly. But yeah, playing in the slot, creating mismatches against the Packers, that's really not where their strength's at. So he had 110 yards. He had that clutch catch that I think he tipped it actually. It was like kind of earlier in the game, Fournette. But yeah, I think Shaq Barrett was the big time defensive player. I think you probably got to go Godwin. How about that? Was basically a Hail Mary before the end of the half. That
Scottie
was
Miller, bro.
As a DB, like, what are you thinking? Like, all right, like the only thing we don't want to happen is for them to score a touchdown on this. They're probably going to try and get an out route play to make it a field goal a little bit more manageable. But now they're just going to bomb it over your head. Like, that was, who was that on King?
It was on King. I mean, you are worried about the sideline too. You don't want to give up a catch and an easy step out of bounds for a easy field goal. So that's in your mind too. But I think like you said, the number one.
But you gotta
priority is the end zone. So that was really bad coverage. I just think it's more on Pettin for the cover one call. He had like a robber coverage where everyone's in man, and then you have the single high free, basically help. It's Darnell Savage, and then Amos was basically in the box. Like he's just basically that's like the perfect call for your main. Yeah, you don't want to give up a touchdown, but your main focus, and you trust your guys in man coverage, but your main focus is not giving up a free catch in the middle of the field, which they had no timeouts. But it was weird because Amos, like, I can tell by the way Amos ran that play, that he did not like the defensive call, because his job, based on the call, was to sit in the middle of the field. The second it was snapped, he gunned it back in the back end, and because of that, which it's not his fault, but because of that, they ended up with 3 guys on Godwin, because Godwin pulled down the middle of the field. They already had a safety over the top, and his main focus is on Godwin because Jair Alexander, one of the best corners in the league, is on Mike Evans. And somehow they ended up with 3 guys on Godwin, and there's just so much space on the sideline with Miller on King. So it was a disaster all around. It was pretty bad.
Here's a question for just the NFL in general. So, like, I'm a Bears fan, so I got to watch Brian Urlacher. Spoiled with Brian Urlacher. Maybe this is just the Bears having Brian Urlacher, but I just remember so many games in his career going up against Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl, where they're checking out of the play, and defense is also caused by Urlacher telling the defense to change their play as well. I feel like we don't see that. I feel like it's only called from the sideline, and the defense is like, oh, well, here we are running this play. I feel like you just don't see that anymore. Yeah,
it happens a lot. I think there's got to be some players out there that are willing to change the play. I mean, there definitely is, but yeah, I think you're right. We don't really see it too often. I think, it felt like Amos wanted to do another thing, but I think he should have aligned himself probably, but then he would have been changing the coach's play. You kind of do what you're told there. So it's tough. It was just not a good call. Maybe there's something we don't know. I don't. It's hard to believe that somebody like that aligned in the wrong spot. It's kind of hard to believe. So I don't know. Yeah, that's tough. And that kind of similar to the end of the game where the Packers, LaFleur decides to kick that field goal instead of going for it. I think that's a terrible decision. But the same thing. Like, I am surprised that Rodgers didn't change that. And just went to the sideline so calm, If you would have told me that scenario before it happened, I would have told you no. Rodgers would be staying on the field, waving the special teams unit, the field goal unit off. So I was surprised by that. I thought Rodgers would have wanted the ball in his hands and be like, no, we have to go for this. So, that call was interesting, just because there's some people trying to justify it. Most of the planet disagrees with it, but I mean, the fact that you might not even might, you probably won't touch the ball again. And I understand being confident and trusting your defense. There's definitely times of being too confident, but I think you got to be realistic. Know your identity, know your opponent's identity. I think they forgot how they were all of a sudden stopping the Buccaneers in the second half, because the Packers were clutching up and stopping the Buccaneers, but they were doing that because of turnovers after the Buccaneers already pushed the ball. The Buccaneers were consistently moving the ball, getting first down, so the chances of you stopping them were not high, and you have a high-powered offense. The offense identity is your identity. Aaron Rodgers is going to be the MVP of the regular season, and you take him off the field. And to make it even worse, so basically what you're saying in that scenario is we trust our defense. And then they get to that, it's a 2nd and 1 after the 2-minute warning, and they jump off sides on purpose. And I understand why, because then there's less plays of running clock for the Buccaneers, but you kind of contradict yourselves there because you trust your defense, but you jump off sides because you don't trust your defense. I mean, the next play, it was first down, but the next play, Fournette got nothing, so it could have been 3rd and 1, possibly, if you didn't purposely jump off sides. So, again, I understand why they jumped off sides, but I really think they contradicted themselves with that. Yeah, kind of a coaching mess there at the end, and the Packers got 2 12-men on the field calls, which is kind of a coaching, I think, situation, and players being idiots as well. But, yeah, just sloppy. And sloppy play from the Buccaneers, too, I thought, at times. So it's kind of weird to see some sloppy play in the NFC Championship game. You guys have any thoughts on any of that? I did my thing again and just started rambling forever.
No, that's okay. You can go. If you got to go, you go.
Yeah, what do you, anybody like the decision to kick the field goal?
I never liked the decision to kick to the field goal, but the one thing that I want to point out, do you see what Rodgers said after the game? Like, it wasn't his call or something like that?
Yeah.
And everyone's freaking out about that, like he's calling out LaFleur. I don't think he's calling out LaFleur. I think he's just telling it how it is. Like, It wasn't my call. Like, he's going to listen to his head coach. Like, he's not the head coach. But I don't like how everyone's freaking out about that, saying, like, or he's blaming it on LaFleur. Bonehead call, though. Bonehead call.
I'm surprised Rodgers didn't. Maybe he did attempt to change it. Didn't look like it. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised about that. But yeah, I think the key takeaway here, just in football, for like the state of the NFL in general, or today's era, I suppose, or the era, is pass rush. And we should know this already, but pass rush is insanely important. It's important. It's just as important as quarterback play, because Brady had some big time throws. He had more big time throws than Rodgers, in my opinion. Like I guess game changing throws, but he had some terrible ones too. 3 interceptions. So he had some terrible decisions, terrible moments. But the difference was one quarterback was pressured way more than the other one, and it kind of limits the offense. So that's a big reason why the Buccaneers won. And yeah, building a pass rush is just as important as, you know, the quarterback's maybe a little more important, but just as important as building the quarterback, in my opinion. And it's not just edge rush either. I think interior, your ability to blitz, but that showed up in this game. Anything else I want to point out before I'm going to forget something?
One thing you could point out, that the Bears beat the Buccaneers. I don't know if you know this, but the Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl, and the Bears beat them. So Bears a lot closer than you'd think to being in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So basically what you're saying is Nick Foles beat the Bucs, so Nick Foles should be the Bears quarterback next year, Week 1, right?
Nick Foles also won the Super Bowl against
Tom
a
Brady.
little team. Exactly right. You know the story. You know the drill.
So if the Bears play, that's why they traded for Foles, and that's why they're fine keeping him around. Is because if they play Brady, then they just put Foles in and they're set.
Done.
Correct.
All right. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I was surprised the lack of production for Ronald Jones. He does look a lot better, like, than Fournette. Once he gets the ball, you know, in the backfield, he just bursts to the hole. Fournette's way more patient. That one touchdown run that Fournette had, I have no idea how he scored on that, because he was hesitating in the backfield and he ran into his own teammate. So that was bad. But then everything after that was incredible, like the spin, breaking tackles. The Packers are pretty bad, at getting to the sideline. Guys that get loose. Even Gronk got loose on one that he got way further than he should have. And Godwin on a screen pass on 3rd down. So, yeah, it's kind of the Packers last couple of years have really defense has really struggled in those moments. They cleaned it up on a good stretch of the season. I guess it depends on matchup, what teams could expose that. For some reason, the Buccaneers were consistent. Both times were able to do that on the Packers and get pressure on the Packers when no other teams were really able to get pressure on Rodgers.
The linebackers for the Packers, I mean, they made a couple plays here and there, but the linebackers for the Packers were just non-existent.
Yeah, they need to upgrade though. They got a couple young ones they hit on. Barnes did get hurt. He had a giant club on his hand. I
think he came out too.
Yeah, he was out on the sideline for quite a bit, but still, they definitely could upgrade.
Looking at the defensive stats, like you have your nose tackle leading your team in tackles.
Kenny Clark's an animal.
He is an animal.
He's an animal.
But then your second most tackle, one with most tackles was a corner. Like, you got to have some linebackers being, especially for the amount of runs that the Bucs did. You got to have some linebackers step up.
Saw a lot of like laziness when it came to just like open field tackles. A lot of on the Packers side.
So I was saying,
Oh.
sloppy play.
Sloppy
Yeah.
play.
A
A
at the
lot of
wrong time.
drop balls and missed tackles, and I don't know, I always like watching receivers, and I don't know. Devontae Adams wasn't too impressive today. Had some drops that he should have had back. Like didn't get his feet in bounds in that one. Mike Evans. Mike Evans. I know he had a couple big catches, but like again, he had some opportunities where he should have made some plays and he didn't. Um,
Godwin had a bad drop. Other than that, he had a
Yeah.
good game though. And Tyler
I know.
Johnson was 1 for 2 with
Yeah,
the drop.
Tyler Johnson had a nice catch, but he also had that drop as well. But what was I gonna say? Oh,
Tell us, Pete.
we were talking about I think the Scottie Miller touchdown. I think that's like kind of just the momentum changer right there. And like I saw like NFL Update tweeted that 10 years ago, Hakeem Nicks caught a touchdown pass against the Packers in the NFC Championship game to go up 20-10 into halftime, and then we know what happened after that. Giants won the game, and then they went on to win the Super Bowl. It's kind of crazy. 10 years later, like the same exact thing happened.
Wow.
Wild stuff. All right. Let's the Bucs are heading to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, first year in the NFC, does it. He has the same amount of NFC titles as Rodgers and Breeze after just 1 year. So that's pretty.
And Rex Grossman.
And Rex Grossman. So that's pretty ridiculous.
Great company. Great company.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
Same.
AFC title game wasn't that entertaining because of it wasn't really close, but it was.
I got some input here.
All right, 1 second, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining to watch the Chiefs and how freaking good they are. I thought in a way, even though like in terms of the game being close, it wasn't. But it was interesting in the beginning. But Junior, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, the thing that just absolutely just confused me was like we just talked about it in the last game. There's an opportunity where they kicked the field goal, not necessarily sure if they should. The Bills 2 separate times. There was once it was like a 4th and goal, and like they kicked the field goal, like you go for it. And then there was like a 4th and 3 on like maybe the 10-yard line. I would have gone for that, but that first one I 100% would have gone for.
Yeah,
I don't understand
agree.
it.
Yeah, I didn't agree with kicking that field. I don't know if it would have mattered at the end of the day, but yeah, I think I would.
And then they go for 2 when they have to kick the field goal at the end to make it 16. That just made no sense.
Yeah.
No, it was just I don't know. It was just a disappointing game. It just looked like the Bills. I don't know, like the Bills just like didn't belong, and like just I don't know. They just like it was just too much for them. Like the challenge was too much for them there. Like they just didn't look like they even. They came out strong. Obviously. They're lucky to have that fumble by McCole Hardman that set them up for a touchdown. But other than that, they just didn't like they. I don't know. They just didn't like they could compete with the Chiefs there at all.
You know what pisses me off about the Chiefs the most? They make everything look so damn easy. They're end arounds that don't work for any other team besides the Chiefs. It really pisses me off. Screen passes.
Yeah.
Mahomes no-look pass, getting sacked, throwing from underneath his leg, like just perfect.
That underhand pass is like a fumble or like interception for any other team.
Yeah. That's harder. Yeah, I think people say like, "Wow, how hard is it to do that?" But it's like that's actually a lot harder than it looks. Like it's really risky. That little flick, like it's in the traffic. It's very risky, and somehow it always works. But yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I'd say the Bills don't belong, but I get what you're saying. Like I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, this isn't even close. The Chiefs are just a lot better at the stage than the Bills. I feel like the Bills weren't ready for it. But at the end of the day, the Bills were.
That's what I mean. They weren't ready.
They were the second best AFC team. So
yeah, I'm just saying they weren't. It just seemed like they weren't like ready for that challenge there, though. Yeah. Like they didn't know what they were getting themselves into in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs.
Yeah, during our picks video, I picked the Chiefs, but then I was confident about it. But then I got to the next day, I made my score predictions, and as I'm talking about the keys of the game, I'm just like, and I think I said it, I'm like, if Mahomes is okay, the Chiefs are going to win this game. I was very confident about it because they're like this. They're pretty much the same team, but they're just better. They're just plain and simple better. Mahomes is better than Josh Allen right now. They have more to their offense. They just got more. They got more speed. Chiefs defense is pretty underrated too. I think it's a pretty good defense. Spagnuolo's a good defensive coordinator. Yeah, they're able to change up their looks. Josh Allen didn't really play the best game. He was a little off target on some throws, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs won just because they were just better. That's just why they won. Like they're better in that game, but they're better in general. So that's just too explosive. There's just so much they can do. There's unlimited amount of things they can do. They can run on offense. You gotta be worried about so many different guys, and you can't double anybody because that leaves somebody else open. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but Tyreek had that bad drop on the Chiefs' first possession. I mean, they kind of got what they wanted. It's almost like they set that up, like they played for that third and short, so they can force the Bills to run man coverage and just get Tyreek open and man because Tre'Davious White's a really good corner, but that's because of his mainly technique and physicality. I mean, he's fast too, so he's got a good combination of things. But if you go against Tyreek Hill, who's just for sure faster than you, and you can't really be physical with him because he's so twitchy, it's just a bad matchup. So the Chiefs kind of got what they wanted there. Torched him in man coverage, and Mahomes had an absolute perfect ball, and somehow he dropped it. But after that, and then Hardman had that fumble. Bills get up, but then after that, Tyreek and the Chiefs were just money. Every time Tyreek just touched the ball, it was ridiculous. They just couldn't. He was just getting all that extra yardage because of his quickness and speed. I mean, that's just so. I don't know. It's just so dominant. It's just every time I see those plays by Tyreek where you just get him the ball in a simple way and he just makes it, an insane play. I just start thinking like, is this the best offensive player in football? Like besides quarterbacks? Like I start thinking that, which, I know there's other guys you probably put ahead of him or you can debate, but. I don't know. Just every time I see that, I just think that. And yeah, maybe he doesn't have the technique or the ball skills, down going for attacking the ball, things like that as a receiver. So I think some people say, well, he's just fast, but there's been plenty of fast guys. I mean, there's not too many guys that are that fast, but there's always the fast guys, like the track guys trying to turn into football stars, or football players, receivers, and they just can't really do it. But it's also really hard to be that fast too. So yeah, I think he's just an unbelievable talent, and it's just impossible to stop at times.
One thing I do want to point out too, we're talking about like the splits and the how much running the Packers were doing versus the Bucs, but it's so evident that the Bills need a running back, like one that's going to actually consistently grind and get them those yards, because you can't have your quarterback leading in carries. I mean, obviously Allen did exactly at 88 yards. He did really well, but you can't rely on that. Like your quarterback's thrown almost 50 times a game. You need to be able to run the ball, especially in a game like this, trying to eat the clock away and get Mahomes off the field. And they obviously could not do it.
Yeah, I think the Bills are kind of built just like the Chiefs. Just like I don't know, just like Riz was saying, just not as talented. But I mean, they tried to like build kind of a similar style team. But there's no way they're gonna out Chiefs the Chiefs.
Can't out
Chiefs
the Chiefs.
I mean, that's why I just don't think it's a good match. It just wasn't a good matchup for the Bills. I think like I'm not saying this team or like another team deserves to be in the AFC Championship over the Bills, but I'm just saying I think the Ravens or the Titans could give a better game against the Chiefs just based on matchups.
What about the Jaguars next year?
Yeah, the Jags are just hyped. But another thing too is I don't know, I just kind of noticed like throughout the year, Josh Allen kind of struggled against cover 2 for some reason. Tries to hit like that hole shot, and corners like sitting in the flat just like keep their eyes on the quarterback, and if they don't feel anyone in the flat, they just kind of drop and kind of like cheat over into that hole shot zone, and they kind of pick them off. I've seen it multiple times this year. But I mean, obviously the Chiefs saw something on tape as well, but I just kind of noticed that. And then going back to Tyreek Hill, what you said with him, like tired of like people trying to like compare every fast receiver to Tyreek Hill. Like Henry Ruggs is supposed to be like the next Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill,
Hollywood Brown.
definitely has a really rare skill set. I know he's fast, but like it takes skill to run like those routes that he runs with with that speed cut instead of like squaring his feet and like breaking out of like a traditional break to run his route. He runs like a speed out, and it's just uncoverable with especially with Mahomes and his timing with Tyreek Hill. He'll run that deep speed out and he'll just throw it instantly as soon as he cuts out, and just you can't keep up with that. He's cut so quick, doesn't lose any speed.
The only way to beat it is you pretty much got to sit where he's going to end up, but then he'll probably just go somewhere else.
But then he crosses the field instead of going out, and it's just like you can't do anything about it really.
The other guys would probably blow their knees or ankles out trying to cut like that.
I mean that's what I mean. He doesn't lose speed really, and he comes out of his break flat. He doesn't drift upfield to like where a cornerback or a safety could undercut it and pick it off. He just comes out flat, and he still has the same speed, which is just like impossible to do.
So Tyreek MVP, are we just going to give it to him?
No, I mean
not for the game, for the whole season.
Yeah,
I mean it's just so hard but not for the game. It's just so hard to debate who. It's so hard to always every year we change our mind who the best receiver in the league is. It's just so hard because like there's just so many different guys and so many different things that they can do. I mean there's just no one who's just like simply just the best. I feel like there's just guys that are good at certain things, really good at certain things.
But if you had to rank just football guys, you had to rank them by their just being a football guy, Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams?
Oof.
Robert Tonyan.
You're a big Robert Tonyan guy.
He's an Illinois guy. Probably a Bears fan at one point in his life, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Tyreek Hill is just so tough to say. Like you don't hear him come up in the best receiver in the league conversations because like he doesn't fit the stereotype like receiver, which you think like those quick guys you kind of just forget about them. You think like Julio, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, all those guys.
Is it weird to say like Adams is the better receiver, but Hill's the better football player?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Yeah, it's kind of weird to say.
I could understand
I know what you're saying, but like it's just weird to say a football player.
Like I don't know. It's just like
just like Tyreek Hill is not. He's not like the wide receiver position. He's like more than that. It's like and it's like a different. I don't know. It's like his whole role.
They put him in the backfield lately too, and they've just been causing problems. Like he's not really getting the ball back.
He can literally be anywhere on like that offense, like anywhere.
Does he get tired?
Anywhere they need him, they put him.
He was runs gassed to the backfield, does a pirouette, and then runs back out to the sideline, then runs a 50-yard catch, zigzagging for a touchdown. Like he doesn't get tired.
He was gassed after one play.
He was just faking it.
I saw something this week, just like random. I saw something this week that like after games, Tyreek Hill like goes in the weight room and he just does single leg RDLs. He does like 150 reps.
My God.
He just knocks out some single leg RDLs when he's done. Like I don't know.
That's what it takes.
After the
That's
game,
how you do it.
How many times per week does he do them too? I better get on that.
I mean, when you like look at him run, he's like I mean, he doesn't have like the worst mechanics, but like he's really like backside. Like he gets most of his push. Like he's really quick with his feet, and he like pushes off like a lot with his hamstrings and his glutes. So I think that's why he's just like. That's part of the reason why he's so fast. Is like I mean, it's probably why he does it. He has probably really strong hamstrings, but.
So more single leg RDLs, kids at
but
home.
I mean DK Metcalf's just like. You watch him run. He's just like that's like perfect form. It's just all front side.
Decaf? You talking about Decaf?
Yeah, Decaf.
Well, we love Decaf Metcalf here.
We're huge Decaf guys here.
Yeah.
Except for Pete. Pete's an AJ Brown guy. You can't like both, even though they're both Ole Miss.
You can like both.
You can't, Pete.
Which one's the better Ole Miss receiver, though? That's the
Ole
debate.
Miss. I think Ole Miss. I think
Ole Miss is definitely the better receiver.
I think AJ Brown's the better receiver.
Okay. Back to, I was kind of kidding with the Tyreek Hill MVP of the season thing, obviously, but it just made me think of something. So the MVP, not just the MVP, the awards in general are there's. I always wonder this. They're supposed to be just regular season awards, right? Like,
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has won how many MVPs?
it's a good question. I don't know the total on that, but
2 or 3, right? 2, 3, 2.
We'll go with 2.5.
2.5.
I don't know.
Look it up.
But I mean,
Just
how many NFC championships does he have?
One.
Line.
Yeah. So I don't think it matters. I just answered your question. I don't think it matters really what happens in the postseason.
Well, that wasn't really what I was getting. That's not what I was really getting to.
All right. Well, sorry.
Well, I am kind of asking. Well, I think I know the answer. I think it's a regular season award, but the problem is they don't actually make the awards or give out the awards until before the Super Bowl. So after this point, so that kind of leaves what we just saw like kind of in your head, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that's just interesting. Like they should just make it if they're gonna make it a regular season award,
Well,
make it a regular season. If they're gonna,
I'm sure like they do the voting after the season, and they just don't want to. I don't
maybe.
know. They just don't want to
Maybe.
do it. They just don't want to do it in the middle of the playoffs. Rather just get to the final game and do it before then.
Maybe.
I got to use the facilities, guys. You mind if I step away for a second?
Step away. Step away.
Number one, number two.
It'll be a quick onesie. All right, I'll be back.
We're gonna be expecting that.
All right.
All right.
So the Super Bowl, we got Bucs Chiefs, a rematch from earlier in the year. The Chiefs were giving it to them. Like I said, the Bucs were running some stupid coverages that I don't think they're gonna be running again. But then the Bucs did come back in that game, and kind of made it interesting. Chiefs kind of let up off the gas a little bit, which they don't normally do. So did they? I don't know. And it's gonna be in Tampa. On top of it, that helps the Buccaneers.
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen.
Don't give me a
Fire the
prediction.
cannons,
Don't
Pete.
spoil
Fire
the
the cannons.
predictions yet.
Fire the cannons, Pete.
No, I can't say it then.
Can't say it.
I'll just say it's gonna be a typical. It's gonna be a typical Chiefs playoff game.
The Buccaneers are gonna start off 10-0, 9-0, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs are gonna get rolling.
Yep. I mean, it helps the Bucs are home, like that. We never seen that before. I think they're considered the away team though, which is a little bit weird, but
It's only fair.
yeah, it's only fair. I mean, yeah, the Chiefs.
You have to go to the
obviously-
away locker room if that's the case.
Oh my God! I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
The Chiefs get to use the Bucs locker room.
there's no way.
There's no way.
Yes.
No way.
The
That'd be
rules are
great.
the rules, Dan.
That'd be great.
Oh,
It might be
Yeah, I'm
actually
back, by the
though.
way, guys.
that was the
I'm back,
fastest
by the
poop
way.
of your life.
I wonder if
I
that's
said
a
it was
rule.
onesie.
I think so.
That's the
Like they're
better
considered the
team
home
has
team.
has
Yeah,
the
they
home
went for it.
locker room
They were the best team in the league. They
and
get the home-
sideline. Yeah, because the locker room has to do with this, is right?
That's probably gonna throw the Bucs off so much.
Yeah,
being in
they
the
might
away
Chiefs by
locker room.
1,000.
Yeah,
And they're gonna be on the wrong sideline too. They're done.
it's over.
How do you coach like that?
Yeah.
Like when the cannons are going off, and they're like,
And they're,
you're like,
and
you're
they're
supposed to be looking
opposite
one way.
side,
Yeah, it's like what?
Like, wait. No, the
63
cannons are
nothing?
normally in that corner. It's like, nope, not today.
In all seriousness, no, I'm excited for that game for Brady's
Yeah.
legacy. It's like what did Tony Romo say? This is like a LeBron James versus Michael Jordan matchup.
Yeah.
I
Even
just
though
love.
they kind of didn't make any sense, but
I just love.
They just
yeah,
had to mention LeBron somehow. I mean, they just had to.
I love Tony. Just love how he's just like. He just says.
CBS,
I don't know, Jim.
CBS is awful, dude. CBS is awful. Jim
I
Nance,
love.
CBS is the
Tony
best one.
Romo.
I love Tony. I think he just like. He just says.
Give him do it.
He just says what everyone's thinking.
I don't know, Jim.
Oh man.
He's like, hey,
I
we're
don't
gonna
know.
see it. It's getting a little chippy, Jim. I don't know.
Oh boy.
I like his insight, but it was
Yeah.
There was one play where he's like, "Oh, they're gonna go to the tight end here. They're gonna go to the tight end." The ball snaps. It's like they're going to Kelsey. They went to Hill. He's like, "Oh, almost."
Today he was literally just like, yeah, if I'm the Bills right here, I got the running back out wide. I'm gonna motion him in. As he's motioning in, he's like, "Up, all right, here he comes." Like, dude, you said it as he was already motioning. Like, I don't understand. He's getting too carried away with how people like hype up that he says the plays before they
mean, he
happen.
does.
It's getting in his head. It's getting
The
in his
defense
head.
isn't even in set yet. He's like, "All right, it's about to be man coverage," and it's literally ends up being man coverage. Like,
Well,
I mean,
Let's call him up. Let's get him to play again.
Get him to yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe in the XFL.
Maybe Chicago. No, maybe Chicago.
I mean, yeah, he would be the Bears' best quarterback probably.
Really?
Tony was a beast.
He was a beast. Never got it done though.
Tony was really good.
Never got it
Never got
done
it
though.
done.
Really good. Just
Never got it done.
always got hurt.
Never got it done.
He was good though.
Yeah, but he's gonna be one of those players that you'll look at the end of their career, or we look at the end of his career, and just like, man, great quarterback, gonna get it done. Great player, never went to the dance. You're gonna, I mean, you know, all these things, Pete.
Yeah.
You're gonna come up. You got in professional sports, you gotta win championships.
Yeah.
You just got to. There are so many players that we're just gonna forget about because they never did it.
You won't forget the GOAT though.
It's true. Goat House, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Goat House.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
So
Do we want Tom winning this?
Yes.
I'm rooting for Tom.
you're rooting for Tom? I don't have a preference at all.
Well, that's because you're unbiased, unless it comes to what is all the
Yeah, but
things that you're biased about.
Biased
the
about
Bears, the
and stuff.
Vikings.
somebody today was telling me I'm a Rodgers D writer. Clearly, with Rodgers, yeah. I had to let him know I'm a
Writing
Vikings
that D,
fan,
yeah?
and it's just, yeah, I'm just calling everything like I
Is
see it.
are we gonna forget about Aaron Rodgers?
No, he won it. He won one.
He did win one.
Right.
He's been to what, 5 NFC Championship games, and he won one.
Right,
And he won the
regardless,
Super
he's won
Bowl
one.
that year.
He's won.
I don't know. I mean, don't get it twisted here. I mean, he's a great quarterback. He's got great arm talent and everything, but like, I mean, you can't put it all on him here. But like, he's got a, I don't know. He needs to step it up a little bit more. I think, honestly, I think everyone's talking about the end of that game. He should have ran it in.
Wait, I got a question for you. If he has an actual first-round pick, would that have helped them win that game? A first-round pick.
Yeah, if they would have used it to
I mean, Valdez-Scantling went off today. We know that. I don't remember how Lazard did, but like
Didn't really do much.
any other position other than taking a quarterback in that first pick, like on defense, maybe another wide receiver would have for sure helped him. I don't know about giving them the game, but I don't know.
I just don't understand. I don't
They're
understand.
secure in the future. They're secure.
secure it.
We don't even know that because we've never seen Jordan Love play.
Secure it. They're
But-
gonna secure it.
But I just don't understand how the Packers front office just continues to not give him weapons in the wide receiver position. I
They
don't
will this
understand.
They
offseason.
tried to
That's
trade for Will Fuller. Hey,
That means nothing. That
And-
means nothing.
and he got suspended a week later for PEDs.
Right.
That would have
So
been
even
He's a
if
free
they
agent.
did it,
He's a free
They
agent.
tattled on him. They tattled on him.
Yeah.
They knew. They're
it
like,
just
we need
doesn't
this
make
guy.
sense. Because like Rodgers has that effect that the great quarterbacks have, where guys like Vontaze Scantling could look good, where Tunyon could look good. Like they're all like decent players,
Bite your
but they
tongue.
look better than they are because Rodgers. It's the Rodgers effect. We see what it does when you put a good receiver in there, like a Devonta Adams. It's just
Well, what are you gonna-
I just don't understand.
What are you
I
going to
don't
say when
understand.
Allen Robinson's going to be a Packer next year? What are you going to
I'm
say?
gonna say, all right, go join Amos. Have fun winning.
Yeah,
You know,
no, they probably
he deserves
will.
to
Have a
win.
lot of
Have fun,
winning.
man.
Yeah, they're probably going to have a lot of fun winning.
How do you think Pete
Right.
Prisco's feeling? He picks the Packers to win every year, and they just to go to the Super Bowl every year, and they just can't get over the NFC Championship.
Briscoe's
Alright.
he's a chooch.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh,
should
Pete's a
listen.
good friend of the channel, longtime listener. Hey, Pete, if you're listening,
Chooch.
You're not a
go.
chooch.
You're not a chooch. Go roll with another team next year. See what happens. All right.
Maybe they'll win for you then.
Take care, Pete. Hopefully
You're not a
good.
chooch.
You're not a chooch.
Still a in my eyes, he's still a chooch.
Okay.
He's not going to
All right.
talk to you anymore.
That's fine.
YouTube doesn't like that word.
He's
I'm
probably
guessing.
blocking you. He's probably
As we
blocking you on
speak.
Twitter. Doesn't Benjamin
Blocking me
Albright have
before
you?
this podcast is even out. He knows.
Benjamin Albright has you blocked.
No, he unblocked me. He unblocked
He
me.
unblocked.
He unblocked me. Yes.
So he had you blocked, and then
He had me blocked. Yep.
So
He
that
looked
means
it
he
up,
was,
and he
that
unblocked
means he
it.
was thinking of you. That's what that means.
That's kind of strange. Probably in the shower, I would think.
What? Why would
Probably
you
thinking
think
of me in the shower?
All right, but maybe I don't know, but so that means he thought he went into his phone on Twitter or maybe his computer. I don't know. Went to the blocked account pages and unblocked you. So that means he was thinking of you like that clearly. So that's ask him.
Hey, I'm gonna tweet him. Say, hey man, when did you decide to, and why did you decide to? Because I'm curious.
When were you thinking about me, man?
Yeah, when were you thinking about me? He's like, man, that guy gave me such a hard time about Antonio Brown. I'm never gonna forgive him. But then that stayed in his brain.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't T. What was it? Larry Fitzgerald, T.Y. Hilton, something like that.
Somebody's cousins, brothers, sisters.
It was Antonio Brown to the Colts was the rumor, and I made the connection. I made the connection about some. He made some weird connection.
Yeah,
about
he said
T.Y.
somebody
Hilton's
knew
coach or something.
some coach's brother's aunt or something, sister,
Right.
And then you said, you came up with something. Larry Fitzgerald.
I said like he was like the friend of like the sister's dentist or something like that, and then he thought I was being serious, and he really just he tried to. He's like, I can't stand when people are sarcastic.
These are my hot takes. These are my hot takes.
Like, dude, you ever laughed in your life? Like, chill.
How do we find this? How do we find it?
Oh my god.
Thinks I'm trying to be mean. I'm just trying,
I just love
have some fun.
I just love the impersonation.
Did he tweet about you after too? Like, I think he tweeted about you, like people coming into my messages not knowing what's going on or something like that.
I mean, it's easy to subtweet.
I don't think he knows.
You block the person who you're subtweeting. Like what? Tag
Didn't
me, bro.
I found it. I found the tweet. I found it.
Let's go.
Benjamin Albright tweeted, "Wonder if the Colts and GM Chris Ballard would take a low-risk shot at Antonio Brown. Brown was coached by T.Y. Hilton's father down in Miami in high school. Brown was a quarterback, punt return, kick return DB then. And then Goathouse Jr. tweeted at Albright NFL, wonder if the Cardinals will take a shot. I hear AB once retweeted a guy who was a friend of Larry Fitzgerald's dentist's sister." Oh,
I mean, that's comedy. That's comedy.
I thought
he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have comedy.
What did he say? Read his passive-aggressive comment.
Oh, yeah, he says, always amazes me when people try to get snarky about things they don't understand. Like, hey, if you want to admit you're clueless, you don't need to tag me into it.
There's people who actually get snarky. I'm clearly being, like, just dumb and just trying to be funny. But he's like...
Well, you're saying you just don't understand it, but what aren't you understanding? He said...
I think he thinks I was serious. He would have to think like, oh, yeah, really? He's going to go to the Cardinals? What?
Brown was coached by T.Y. Hilton's father in high school. So that means
I'm not seeing that connection because T.Y. Hilton's father doesn't run the Colts front office.
Yeah.
First of all, can we talk about how terrible of a take that was?
Yeah.
That was god-awful.
Good stuff.
Me and Benjamin are going to make things right. We're going to make things right.
You see, screenshot and send it to him and be like, hey, remember when you blocked me?
Yeah, you blocked me, man, but now I'm unblocked. Explain? Care to come on the podcast to explain? I'll send
come on the show.
Yeah.
Right. He'll explain.
We'll give you a hard time. Come on our show. It's going to be a blast.
I mean, it'll be Albright.
Good one.
That was a good one, guys. That was a gem. Again, comedy.
Boy.
That's comedy, guys.
Pure comedy.
Pure comedy. Yeah, I gotta message this guy.
He's just gonna block.
What's his name?
He's gonna block.
He's not gonna block me. He's not gonna. I'll be nice to him.
He's gonna have no idea what you're talking about. He deals with thousands of people every day.
Send me the screenshot.
And we gotta find. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, I'm unblocked. How nice of him.
Hey man, remember me?
He's a Broncos fan.
Yeah, what is he doing meddling in the Colts stuff if he's a Broncos fan?
Yeah, what is he doing?
He knows his stuff, man.
Besides Antonio Brown going with the Colts.
I mean, besides that, Pete, he's all over.
He knows his stuff, though.
He's all over the news.
And
too bad you didn't say, I wonder if the Bucs take a shot because you heard Tom Brady's.
That was great.
You would have been right then. Well, that wouldn't have been Tom Brady because that was What was that? September 7th in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Patriots.
If you just somehow ended up right about him going to the Bucs. Oh yeah, he ended up on the Patriots before that, right? Or the I don't know. I don't know the timeline. If you ended up right on that, that'd have been legendary.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. You think you'll answer me? You think you'll answer me?
They'll probably block you again, man.
No, we
All right,
can't do
that
that.
screenshot, crop it out so because at the bottom you can see the goat house thing to reply. Go ahead and crop that out.
Don't put the goat out.
Because he's definitely
So
going
you
to
don't-
think that you're like a burner of that. And he probably did because I think I was commenting on that. But he's
Yeah,
probably
no,
going to think
okay.
like you are the goat house and you.
No,
But
no,
she
I'm
is
just
the
the
goat house.
dentist.
Well, you are, but you're not the Twitter.
You
No,
are.
I'm just the dentist.
You're just the dentist's sister that retweeted a tweet once for Larry Fitzgerald, and yeah, I don't know.
I'm just gonna tweet it at him and say, "Hey, man, I forgive you." That's all.
And he's not.
Well, he should be forgiving you.
That's true, but you know, Pete, I'm trying to like extend the branch. Is it the olive branch? What do they say about that? I'm
Olive-
trying
the
to-
Olive
idea.
Garden with
I
the
have no
breadsticks?
idea what
you
you're talking
extend an
about.
Olive Garden breadstick to one guy, and then he accepts it on the other end.
Oh, okay.
Something like
You've
that.
never heard that before, Pete.
Okay.
How have you never heard that? I think you just need to start. I think that's how you're gonna grow the Twitter. You're just gonna start messing with people like that, and you're probably
I'm
gonna.
gonna. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna follow him, and I'm gonna. This is gonna be the long play here. I'm gonna start answering every tweet I see of his, and he's gonna notice me.
You're gonna
He's
quote
gonna
tweet
notice
it.
me, and then he's gonna have nightmares about me.
Quote tweet everything.
We're gonna get. That's the goal. We're gonna get him on the podcast somehow, some way. We're gonna get him on the podcast.
This is the end. Quote tweet everything he says, and then make your statement. Then take some space, just space it out a little bit. And at the end of every tweet, you put, "Would love to have you on the show." And-
I'll
this-
end every take with that.
yeah, that's what
Can
I'm
this
saying.
podcast be NFL review with our special guest, Matt Albright?
Benjamin
Matt
Albright.
Albright.
Let's keep
Whatever his
calling
name
him
is.
Matt Albright the whole time.
Back
Okay, let's
then,
get him on.
NFL review with Matt Albright.
Just tag him. Tag Benjamin Albright in it, though.
Matt
Oh
Albright.
boy.
It's Matt.
Oh no!
Matt.
Every time I quote tweet, I was like, "That's a great take, Matt," and I'll just like respond to it.
Oh
He's
boy.
like, "Dude, my name is Ben."
I don't know why that's so funny, but it is.
All right,
Oh,
and on
man.
that note,
We just refer to him as Matt. Just
So,
clearly.
he's Matt. He is Matt.
This is, I wish his handle was Benjamin Albright. Be like, we got Matt Albright here. You can follow me.
You
follow
can find him at Benjamin Albright.
Oh man.
I follow him. He's my new best friend.
Yep, you're gonna be blocked in freaking no
No,
time.
Ask him
I'm
to
gonna
follow
be
you
nice
back.
to him.
Like, hey man, hey, it's been a while. Thanks for unblocking me. Can I get a follow? Just bending the bridge. Can I get a follow?
Yeah, then I'll get blocked right there. That'll be
blocker.
the one I
You're done.
get blocked on.
Huge fan. Can I get a follow? Huge fan. Can I get a follow?
Oh man.
Oh my god. And then if he follows us, be like, "Thanks for following. Love to have you on the pod to discuss."
Matt.
Matt.
No, if you call him
Matt.
Matt, he's never gonna come on. Like he's probably already not gonna come on, but
No. I think he would.
There's a Matt Albright out there. Who am I thinking of Matt Albright? Just making up names.
yeah, I think let me just type in Matt Albright, see what happens.
Gonna be a real player.
Matt Albright comes up. Television presenter, never heard of him. I don't know. I think you're just making up names.
Probably.
Oh, all right. So you guys heard it here first. This is the day one of me. Like we're going after this guy in a nice way.
Let everybody know your Twitter handle so they can follow you, and everyone else can too. Yours is
Mine?
yeah. Yours is
At Goathouse Jr.
what's everyone else's? Everyone's gonna go follow these guys. We gotta get the You only
Yeah.
got 178 followers. We gotta get that up.
Right, but that's like a commanding 178. You know,
Yeah, it's not your normal 178.
it's true. It's not your average 178.
wait,
I mean,
what's the
it's just
what's
built
the difference
different.
between what's the difference between the normal 178 and your 178?
Read through my Twitter feed, Pete, and you'll know. I'll have all your answers, man.
But the followers.
The followers, they just follow. I don't know why. I just tweet things that comes to my mind, you know.
I'll tweet out, follow the Goat
Right.
House boys, fellas,
Pals.
pals.
Mm.
Is that one L or two L's?
I think one.
Okay.
And then tag, put all our Twitters, and then add Benjamin Albright.
Oh,
And then
boy.
comment with a special guest Matt.
Oh no, I don't know if I can do that. We're just gonna.
Okay, can you just put his Twitter handle in there? Like, just say follow the Goat House fellas, and then just
Everyone's gonna be
Have
so
all-
confused.
it'll be so funny. It'll be so funny.
He's
That's
gonna,
not mean. That's not mean.
He's gonna if he sees it. We're gonna do
We're
it.
ju- I am gonna kill him with kindness. I'm gonna be so nice to him. He's just gonna be like, man, this he's gonna think I'm being sarcastic, but I'm gonna be so nice
But
to the
can
guy.
that backfire? Can he be like, yeah, I'm not part of the. Like he could think we're just trying to grow the channel more by just including him.
Just say, whoops, man, sorry. I don't think he's gonna respond.
He's probably not going to.
You know, he's in Bronco country over
Follow
there.
the
you know?
Goat House pals, and it's just at Goat House Jr., at J Mill the Wizard, at P Rizzy 8, and at Albright NFL. All right. Post that now, and what we're recording
Danny
right
Provolone
now
gone?
isn't up. Yeah, he just goes by J Mill the Wizard, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Danny Provolone though.
He's retired.
Hmm.
Oh,
Well,
pray.
Danny's not retired, but you know.
This is great.
I've
This
guaranteed.
guy, look at his bio. I already don't like him. You see his bio?
He's got a podcast episode ripping Benjamin Albright. It's not good.
He said second most accurate mock draft in the world, 2020. Shut up.
I'm gonna be nice to him this point forward. You should see. Can I see the receipts for that? Can I see your evidence?
I'm
Is there
gonna be
evidence of
nice
that?
to him on Twitter.
Oh.
He's a nerd. He's a nerd. He's an absolute nerd. Better yet, I'll take one step up. He's a dork. He's a dork. I'm gonna go at
You
him.
relax. You said you're gonna be nice to the guy.
I am being nice to him.
Somebody's gonna tag him in the podcast. He's gonna be bored one day. He's gonna listen to this and be like, "What the hell?"
Okay, he blocked me first. He drew blood first. What do you want me
You
to
drew
do?
blood first.
I'll sit down, break bread with the guy. I mean, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be mean, but you kind of went 0 to 100. I'm just trying to,
Real
have a
quick.
good time.
Real fucking
Yeah,
quick.
boy. Yeah.
All right, this has gotten out of hand.
This is got.
He needs to get out of here. I need to get out
Yeah.
of here.
I think majority
Well,
of this
I
need to
podcast
get out of here.
was taken up by Benjamin Albright. Hopefully, we get Matt himself on the show one of these days. That'd be
Yeah, well,
fantastic.
days.
But really, I got notifications on for Goat House Jr. I can't wait to see what he's got in store for Matt Albright. And yeah.
neither.
It should be a good one. But I think that wraps it up. If you're listening on podcast, appreciate you. If you're listening on the YouTube channel, appreciate you. All kinds of NFL coverage on the channel. More to come. We're in off-season mode for 30 out of 32 teams. So, yeah, we got you. We got you. Yeah, make sure you follow that Twitter. All of our Twitters must follow. That's going to do it, though. Thanks, everyone, for watching, listening.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Viva.